Hey everybody, Eric Schweitzer here for The Gamer, back with another episode of your favorite game, joined by my two co-hosts, the G and LGM, George Foster.
Meet Mop.
And she comes in peace, but she'll leave you in pieces, Stacey Henley.
Oh,
hello.
Hey, we're talking about aliens today. It's your favorite game with aliens. Do you guys believe in aliens?
I definitely do believe in the existence of aliens. Do I necessarily believe they visit us and probe us? Not so sure.
There's got to be more life. We'd be conceited to say
That's
it's just
true.
us. I don't think we'll see it in our lifetimes, but
yeah,
we don't see contact in our lifetime.
I kind of think that other life has or will existed, but probably not at the same time as us. Being
That's
that
the thing
how
with the
old
infinite
the
size.
universe is.
Yeah, it's like infinite time as well.
Yeah.
I think
it's gonna be one of those episodes, isn't it? Jesus Christ.
I think I read from the start of time. If you imagine the Big Bang, and then the humanity actually existing. If you imagine that as a year, so the Big Bang being the 1st of January, and today being midnight on New Year's Eve.
Uh-huh.
I think I read somewhere that humans have been around for so little that they would have been born at 11 o'clock on New Year's Eve. That's how little of time we have existed for as a species.
That's even more than I would have guessed. I would have guessed it would have been a couple seconds.
That made sense to you. That just went right over my head. Guess I'm the alien. Whoa.
Even here on Earth, our existence is a blip. So people love aliens, man. One of my favorite YouTubers, he used to do puzzles, like bespoke puzzle boxes, and now he does UFOs, and his channel tripled in size when he switched over to talking about.
He does UFOs,
like alien hunting. Okay, no, yeah, talking about sightings and stuff. And his channel got way bigger when he switched over to talking about abductions and stuff. I don't know. Have you guys ever watched Ancient Aliens and all that stuff?
No,
because it's huge. Maybe it's an American thing. I
used to love X-Files. X-Files is my big with that. I grew up with X-Files.
My interest, I think, is very much here and now. What impacts me, if an alien shows up,
I'm a very selfish person.
yeah.
I don't care about
anything.
It's not
else.
my problem.
It's not my problem. No. I more mean it's fun to think about, but
sure,
to the point of, I guess, caring. To the point of
some
caring,
people are really obsessive.
Yeah,
right.
I'm obsessive about games. I guess it's different strokes.
I like George's attitude. It's none of my business.
That's it. That is exactly it. It's probably, but what's it to me?
Yeah. We've done other episodes that are about I don't even know it. A type of monster.
Mm.
And we can see the vampire trends, for example.
Yeah.
Aliens are different, I think. Aliens are way different. They're not we're talking about games with aliens, but none of the games we're going to talk about are alien games in the way that Redfall was a vampire game.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Oh, okay. All right, maybe not.
But I think there's a big difference between the types of games we're going to discuss, because some of them are humans get attacked by or go and attack aliens. They go on an alien. Some of them are it's set in space and aliens are a completely normal part of life, and they're just there. They're just other a stand-in for other cultures, or a different way to explore characters, in really the same way that you have elves and orcs and fantasy stuff. And then the other one is just where it's completely removed from humans at all, and all of the characters, even if they look like in Star Wars, there's no actual humans in Star Wars. They're all just aliens, to the point where it's more interesting to tell the story in space. You can do more things with the physics and the lore and the history and all those sorts of things. So that's where the game takes place, but it's not necessarily interested in the alien side of things. I assume it's not from that cryptic clue, but George, if yours was Star Wars Fallen Order, I'm not sure about Cal Kestis again.
I don't want to be
really
an
alien.
Luke all of it, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like if there's a subgenre, it's like alien invasion,
Yes.
right? But that's such a small fraction of what constitutes like
Oh yeah.
aliens. So
Mhm.
I just thought that was interesting. Because everything else, like if there's werewolves, it's like, oh, it's a werewolf game.
Yeah.
You know? All right. Well, I think we've got a lot to talk about this week. This is a very broad one. So maybe we'll jump right in. I think it's George's turn to go first. George,
Yes.
what's your favorite game with aliens?
My favorite game of aliens is the only alien game, Destroy All Humans.
Okay,
I bet
not
you
the
both
only
forgot
alien
about.
game, but
Yeah, but
The
it's
only
the
alien
game.
game.
Okay. To Eric's point a second ago, you don't really. When I was thinking about the entries that like I kind of wanted to consider, before I picked like the one, I was like, oh, most of these games like vaguely have aliens in them, or like they're usually Easter eggs. They're usually secrets you find. They're a skin. But Destroy All Humans is all about being an alien. It's all about the alien invasion genre, like we were just saying. And
sure.
this is one
if there
I'd
was an
love to drag
alien
on.
game, it would be Destroy All Humans.
It's the only one I could think of, to be honest. The rest of my
That's
picks.
crazy. Oh, that's
Well, no,
crazy.
no,
No, I can think of more.
It depends
That's
where
the-
you define it. This is like this
Not
is
with like you said skins. If you're going to say like Fortnite or like the Easter
No.
eggs that you get in like
You'll see what I
GTA or
mean.
Red Dead.
Well,
I
that's
know
one of
what you
them.
mean. I had like dozens to choose from that I think are all pretty legitimately alien games. I don't think it's a bad pick. I'm just staggered that you think that's the only video game that has aliens in it.
It's the first one that jumps to mind as like classic alien, where you play as an alien, right? Not where they're just kind of there, but like you are playing as an alien, you are probing people, you're abducting them, you're harvesting brains.
Playing
you're
as an
doing
alien who
all of
interacts with humanity.
Yeah, let's go for
Right.
that. That's
Yeah,
probably what I meant.
that's more like it. Yeah.
Yeah, and beyond that, what I've apparently gotten wrong in thinking it's the only one this type, it is the first one that comes to mind for me. Like I think for a lot of people, Destroy Humans is a classic, proper PS2 game, proper sort of thing you'd see on the shelf. You're like, oh, that's funky. You take it home, play it, don't really think about it ever again until 20 years later you're on a podcast talking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really
Until
like the Destroy Human games.
THQ remakes it.
Yeah, and the remakes
Yeah.
were good as well. They did.
I didn't play the
So
remakes.
it was a surprisingly, I don't want to say involved, far-reaching series back in its heyday. Like we had the first one, then the second, then they had a Wii spin-off, Big Willy Unleashed. Then they had
God, that era of games
it's that
was
kind of
terrible,
series,
wasn't
yeah.
it?
Then they had like the big next-gen one that was really bad, Path of the Furon. And then it disappeared for like a decade. The whole series was just gone. It was one of those things you'd constantly see on lists of games we need back, even though we won't buy them when they come back. Yeah. And then it did come back, and I think it did okay.
And people didn't buy them.
They didn't
Yeah.
buy them. I think it's gone again. But I love Destroy Humans. I think they're silly. They're not. I won't, like I just said, I won't think about them beyond playing them. But for being a game about being an alien, I think it's like very wish fulfilling. Like you've got all of the tropes you'd want. You've got the taking on bodies. You've got the probing, the zapping, all the weird weapons, UFO.
Gotta have the probing.
Gotta have the probe in some manner, and this is just full on gun that probes. It's very Saints Row actually. Now I'm voicing it out loud. Some of the weaponry is very Ratchet and Clank, Saints Rowy. Just makes me
Two
think about,
games
like,
that are
shotgun.
alien games.
Okay, well, oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, I didn't want to just do like, you know. I guess maybe I went for the opposite, where I went for the really obvious alien pick
I
instead
don't think you
of
did.
like,
I think it's
blurring the
a
lines.
fine pick. I was surprised you announced it as this is the only alien.
It is the
That was the
alien
first
game.
thing you said.
It is the alien game.
Yeah,
is
it's a
what
good
I
pick.
meant.
It's a one that you like a lot that we haven't really talked about.
We'll
which
never
is
talk about it again,
Starting to
yeah.
get rare on this show.
Yeah.
That's Richard Horvitz, right? Isn't he also Zim?
He's Pox in Destroy All Humans, so he's the floating head. And he is Zim, and he's also Raz in Psychonauts. And
Yeah.
he's Turgle
Is he?
in Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
some good trivia. I didn't know any of those characters. Were
I
connected.
love Richard Horvitz. He's fantastic.
A very
It doesn't
alien
surprise me. You
voice
love a lot of
guy.
those things.
If he likes one,
Yeah,
if I like
he's-
one of the things he voices, I know all of them and like them all.
He's also Chaos in Skylanders.
He is, yes.
Well, Skylanders trivia. Destroy All Humans to me is like the moral crisis over GTA. You know, I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like Destroy All Humans is what people were worried all the kids were doing in GTA.
Yeah,
And
I think maybe that was part of its charm, that it was
Yeah.
As a
really
kid,
like
yeah.
as a kid,
For
yeah.
sure.
Because I was a kid when this came out.
I say, how old were you when it came out? Because you're a bit younger than us.
I want to say it was 2005, so I would have been 6. But I remember playing. I like my lifetime is blurred, so I can't remember if I played it like release day or like 4 years later and just thought it was a new game. That was the joy of the PS2 era. You never knew, did you?
Yeah.
You're 2005.
Yes. What a
Straw
come
Humans,
on.
Yeah.
That better be in the quiz. Let's go. But yeah, Straw Human. They're all, I think they're all good, and that's as far as I'd go with them. But whenever a new one is out, I'm excited for it until I forget about it again.
It's like, how far can you go with that idea? It's like there's kind of a checklist of like classic Little Green Men iconography, right?
I think they filled
You
out
abduct
the
the
first
cows, you got the UFO, you got the blasters.
They did all of that.
Yeah, and then and then the second one is just all that again.
All that again, but you travel around the world, so you've got like Paris, London.
Yeah, you go to like London and stuff. I do remember that.
Yeah.
We had all the
2 was the best
landmarks. It
one.
was like what's the White House explodes? Independence Day, where they like blow stuff up.
I wouldn't know that, but yes, probably.
Oh,
I mean,
you wouldn't
was.
know Independence
You don't
Day?
know what it.
Here we go. I know of it. I know of it like I know many things, but it's not my business, so I don't care.
It's none of his business.
Someone else's problem.
All right, very good, and a good place to start. A very classical,
the only alien
Americana interpretation of alien invasion. Have you ever seen Mars Attacks?
I've heard of it. It's not my problem.
Oh, man. Yeah,
that's for the Mars people. I can picture it as you say it. Like I know they're like the bug-eyed, like
with the glass in their helmet,
like
yeah,
brains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. Not my problem though.
Well, that's good. I think you'd like it. All right, Stacey. What is your favorite game with aliens?
My favorite game with aliens, I had a really big list now. I still didn't know what I was going to pick. And what has made me choose is when George said it's the only alien game. I thought you were going to say this game. So that's kind of made the decision for me. Because it's the alien game with a capital A. Alien Isolation.
Of course, that is on my list.
The other game that's the only alien game.
Yes. Right. If you have a game journalist in your life, they will have an opinion on either Alien Isolation or Disco Elysium, or possibly both. No one else in the world seems to care about them. That's true, yeah. No one else in the world seems to care about these games other than games journalists.
Yeah.
But they all care so much. No, I love Alien Isolation, though. People who aren't aware of it, you are basically playing out the Alien movies. You play as Ripley's kid, but you're in a ship. A xenomorph is on the ship. You need to survive. And it used 2 different like brains, I guess. The alien would track you in a certain way, and the game would track you in a certain way. So if you tended to hide in lockers, the alien would sense that, the xenomorph would sense that, and they would naturally look in lockers first. If you often went in vents, it would chase you through vents. And it was like the game would track you so that it was able to meaningfully give you progress and challenge. And then kind of separate to that, the alien itself would be tracking you in its own way. And it would be in tandem with the game. It wouldn't just be a kind of... Because, it's a xenomorph. If it finds you, it kills you. You can occasionally blast it with fire to get away, but you can't ever kill this thing. That's how these work. So what was really clever was it would always be like just a couple of steps behind you, but waiting for you to make a mistake. And it wouldn't, obviously it was the game because the whole thing is the game, but it wouldn't just be like a kind of, in other video games, you miss a shot or you run too early and like, you can fail at action games just by doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. In Alien, it was a lot more reactive to how you would play it previously, which kind of forced you to think as you would if you are really there. Because, if you'd been in a locker and the alien had like nearly caught you, you would be less likely to hide there in the future because you think, all right, it's seen me. It kind of knows I'm in there. I've got to kind of think on my feet and do something different. So yeah, I think everything Alien Isolation does is really, really clever. It's a really tight stealth horror game. They are making a new one some point in the future. It's obviously Alien as a franchise, as a movie franchise, is one of the best Alien things in pop culture. And I think this game, there aren't a lot of great Alien games to pick from. There's a lot of low cards in the deck. But I think this game sums up the feeling of those movies more than not just any other Alien game, but a lot of games, you know, are like unlicensed Alien games. They're clearly channeling a kind of big, scary, dark thing from space. And I think Isolation just does it so well. Obviously, I have a bunch of games that I talk about a lot that have aliens, and Mass Effect is one of my favorite series. Probably is my favorite series. Didn't want to mention that because I mentioned it for a lot of things. I did nearly mention Ratchet and Clank as well, Saints Row. This one just felt so perfect to this category that I wanted to.
I'm gutted I didn't think of Ratchet and Clank. Now you say
celebrate
it. That is an obvious one, but it didn't even cross my mind.
I love Alien Isolation so much. It really broke the curse of Alien games.
Yes,
like as you mentioned, there had been many. Like there had been many games, including the very infamous Alien Colonial Marines.
Oh yeah,
which has a pretty tragic development story. If I remember correctly, Gearbox was basically like smuggling money out of their development and giving it to Duke Nukem Forever. So
we saw how that turned out as well. Jesus.
Yeah. But Alien Isolation was so good, so much better than every Alien game, and I think since then Alien games have gotten a lot better. It's almost like
stepped up to the plate a little bit.
Like finally convinced that an Alien game could work, and you know, none of them have been on Isolation's level, but I thought Fireteam Elite was pretty good. Dark Descent was pretty good. The VR one that came out last year is pretty good too. So they haven't been disasters like all the ones that came before Isolation.
Oh.
Yeah. Stacey did say it's a pretty tight survival horror game, and I can't agree with that. Because
the first half is very tight, and then it's another game.
I don't think there's much. The only bit that I don't like of it is there's the bit where you go out into space, you have to like float into space and do that. I don't mind the bit where you go into the nest and things, because I think that's pretty quintessential to Aliens as a series. The bit where you float out in space and you have to like put down all the weapons, put down the shotgun, put down the flamethrower and all that. That bit takes a long time, and it's supposed to make you feel terrified. Because you're in space, you're in the vastness of space, you have nothing to protect yourself. But the problem with that is, I'm not actually in space. This is a video game. You have taken away everything that I could possibly use to defend myself, and I therefore know you're not going to kill me.
Yeah.
That's true.
I need to be able to do this part to finish the game. So if you had let me keep a wrench, then I'd be like, oh, there's going to be a bit where you have to get up really close and personal, and you have to, you know, use a melee attack, which you don't really want. You want to kind of have the big flamethrower so you can blast it in the face. But when it makes you hand everything over, it's just kind of a long, ooh, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
It's like the thing that Still Wakes the Deep did, where it was like, it's really scary, then it catches you, and you do the really scary bit again. It's like, oh, okay, okay, sure. I think it deflates a little bit there. I don't think it's necessarily that long. After that, but I do know that's a pretty common opinion.
I definitely remember that sequence being a drag. So maybe you've convinced me. This is one I'm definitely gonna have to replay before the sequel comes out.
And you can replay it with Kinect. You used to be able to play it with Kinect. Remember that? You could duck under.
Oh my gosh!
Barriers.
Really?
No, I didn't. Oh my god!
I didn't play it that way. I
can replay it on
no one did.
Xbox One, but I never used the Kinect for it.
You can replay it on your iPhone as well.
Yeah. Crazy times we live in.
Yeah.
Gaming on phones.
The AI is really like, Left 4 Dead always gets cited for its like director whatever AI, but this one is just as impressive. You're right. It totally feels like you're really being stalked, and you have to think like a person that's being stalked, and which is what makes it a better hide and seek game than all the other ones. You know, like I really don't like what is it, Outlast?
Yeah.
Is that the mental asylum one?
Yeah, the naked
Because
one.
It's all hide and seek. It's all just like standing in a locker waiting for something to path away, you know. And it's like you learn the patterns. You can feel the game design in what you're experiencing. It's not scary. It's just like tedious.
Yeah.
And you never get that from Isolation.
No.
You know?
And it's obviously, it uses the really classic horror tropes, well, that you can't save until you reach your phone. And like Resident Evil, obviously massive inspiration from Resident Evil. With that's not typewriters, but it's the same thing. Which stops you from, okay, I'm gonna run to this wall, then I'm gonna save, and I'm gonna run to that wall, and I'm gonna save. Like you have to plan out. Okay, I need to get to this next section, and unless you know the ship, you don't know where any of the phones or anything are, and they're not safe rooms like in Resident Evil. They're just on the wall. Like you might be attacked while going towards them.
And this needs a remaster or something to get it back on people's radars. I mean, I know it's not like inaccessible.
It's on every game journalist radar all
That's
times.
true, but it's not as well known by not as well known as if this is a deep cut that only we, the experts of gaming, understand. But it didn't sell very well. You know, stealth horror games don't always. It did have a bad reputation just because Alien games in general at that point had a bad reputation, and it just I think that was why it ended up getting and you know, we can get a sequel for 15 years.
And it does really cool stuff with the canon. Like it fits into the timeline. It has a story that feels like it actually matters, whereas most of these games is just like, here's some random Marines fighting some aliens.
I can't remember the story well enough to know the answer to this question, but I wonder if it still fits after Romulus.
Oh,
obviously Romulus ties into stuff,
I
because they have the Ian Holm is in, I can't remember his name called in the movie, but he's back obviously in Romulus. So I wonder if they obviously they didn't write the movie thinking about Isolation, but I wonder if it now is slightly out of kilter, or if it still fits in perfectly.
Yeah, I also don't remember the details well enough.
I certainly don't.
Yeah. You've played it though.
It's not his problem. It's not his business.
It's not my business, but I did enjoy it. I fall flatly in the middle between like, oh my god, the best game ever, because it does some really cool stuff, and then just the second half that
you're one of those journalists who are really into disco though.
Yes, you're one or the other. I think I bloody love Disco Elysium. We can chat about that all day.
What we should chat about instead though is Eric.
Yeah.
What is your favorite game with aliens?
My favorite game with aliens is Bloodborne.
Oh, not what I expected.
Not the reactions I expected.
Know the story
mine's
of Bloodborne
confusion.
well enough.
Confusion. Interesting.
Like werewolves, right?
They're like blood priests, aren't they?
Okay.
Go on, tell us.
Let me, the person who's played Bloodborne, talk about it.
Yes. I've played Bloodborne.
George, you played Bloodborne?
I have played about 30 hours of Bloodborne.
Wow.
And I liked it, but then it got too hard. So I just don't talk about it. It's
okay.
It's the same with any FromSoft game. It's like, yeah, it's FromSoft. It's as good as you know it will be.
Fair enough. Then I'll explain.
Yes, please do.
Bloodborne is a cosmic horror dressed up as a gothic horror.
Okay.
And the way that it blends those two and sort of reveals the cosmic horror lurking behind the gothic horror is what makes it such a cool world. The beginning of this game is you wake up in a church/hospital and you fight a werewolf. Then you make your way through a town and there's a bunch of townspeople and they're aggressive. And then there's some townspeople that are kind of look like they're kind of turning into werewolves. And then you fight some more werewolves and then you fight some more people. And you're like, okay, I get what kind of game this is, right? There's gothic architecture. There's people with pickaxes and they're burning people at the stake, and it's always nighttime, and there's werewolves, and okay, I get it. Full moon, cursed town, whatever. But the sort of midpoint reveal of this game is a Lovecraftian source behind all this madness. And I think if you're just sort of casually absorbing the narrative as you fight your way through this game, some of the extraterrestrial aspects of it kind of feel like they come out of nowhere. It's like all of a sudden you get to the back of the church and there's literally like little green men with big heads stumbling around.
I think that's where I got to, somewhere like that. That rings a bell.
Yeah, and you're like, what? What are all these aliens doing here? But if you're actually invested in the story and exploring it in that sort of From Softy way, like where you're reading between the lines and you're picking up strange items and actually reading the descriptions and stuff, the way it all fits together is really cool. There are in this world there are great ones. You know, there are like these Lovecraftian beings, these Cthulhu like beings, and all of the madness in this world, all the monsters, the werewolves, the psychosis, all the blood stuff, it all is a result of the people of this world making attempts to bridge the gap with these old ones, the great ones. It's trying to commune with them, trying to reach them, trying to learn from them, has led to everything horrible that has happened in this world. And like the journey through Bloodborne is discovering the timeline of how it went from a normal place to this place, and the influence that all these different aliens had over them. And it's really cool. And you fight tons of them. Like a bunch of the bosses are the great ones, and they're just so crazy looking. They're just like the coolest, weirdest, scariest looking monsters. They're all super different. One of them's just a big bag of eyeballs.
I think I remember the eyeballs guy as well. People never talk about this. Like Bloodborne, people can't shut up about, but this is like one of the only times I've heard any kind of discussion about what it's actually about. Beyond the first half, where it's werewolves, really obviously.
Yeah, like outside of the actual great ones, like the gods, all of the aliens they're called kin. They're people that through science experiments they tried to turn people into aliens through different processes so that they could commune with the great ones, right? And so a lot of the alien monsters that you encounter in the game are like pseudo aliens. They're people that were given blood or other things to be turned into these creatures. So
it's interesting to think about, like, sorry, it's
yeah,
interesting
no.
Like, is the difference between what we consider to be aliens and what we consider to be kind of godlike deities, because I think some people would play Bloodborne, I'm certainly an expert, and kind of see them as these are gods, they're like a pantheon things, and I understand that they come from elsewhere and therefore are alien to our world.
Yeah.
But if you think of, I don't know, like the gods of Assassin's Creed, they're aliens, but I don't necessarily think of them as being extraterrestrial creatures. I think of them as being like heavenly. And I don't know Bloodborne enough to say where these fall on, but I wonder if part of the reason it's not discussed in this way is because people think of them as religious figures as opposed to scientific. I guess aliens are more scientific than religious.
I think it's all in the look, right? Like the Assassin's Creed sort of deities, like you mentioned, they look human. So to me, it's easier to imagine them as like a higher power that resembles us. But like in Bloodborne, everything looks freaky and weird. So I don't find it hard to think of them as alien.
I definitely think aesthetic is a big part of it. And it is intentionally blurry. It's like this is how Bloodborne establishes its own brand and lore, right? Like it is somewhere in between gods and aliens, but I think there's like a celestial aspect that makes it otherworldly. And the idea that these things weren't always here, you know, like God was always here. God didn't like show up on Earth one day, but these things did.
Even the word celestial kind of conjures images of like religion. I know it means from the stars. I know it's like celeste, but
yeah,
it feels like a religious term. It's obviously ancient civilizations obviously saw little green men and called this is Ra the sun god, and that's why we have all these old religions,
right?
Because it was aliens visiting.
Yeah,
No, it's fascinating. I do like listening to you talk about games like Bloodborne, other games that I don't play, because I think there's so much. Even games that I have played, you always dig really deep into like the texture of the lore.
Yeah, but can Eric tell you that Destroy Humans is the only Alien game? I didn't think so. That's what we're here for.
Is he an expert probe? I like Joe.
Not his problem.
There is a really great let's play of Bloodborne on YouTube where this guy is explaining the lore as he plays. I don't watch lots of let's plays, not since I was a kid, but but it works really well for a FromSoft game because it's like having a tour of Yharnam. Like he's telling you the details about the places you're going and the things you're encountering that you wouldn't know it unless you like
Bloodborne
really dug
certainly
into it.
won't tell you.
Yeah,
it's a FromSoft game. You have to go to Reddit for the story.
Yeah.
Well, there was that really chunky one I remember for Elden Ring. It was like 30 hours long, just describing what the story was. I didn't watch it.
Wow.
Don't care.
It's something that's gone over my head all the time. I've really I make fun of it, but I do respect that that's a way of doing storytelling that's not just like in your face. But maybe I'm not intrepid enough to clue all that together, so I just feel like an idiot.
Intrepid enough.
It's a specific kind of storytelling. It's definitely not for everyone. It is a little surprising how huge FromSoft's games are compared to how inaccessible they seem.
Massive casual appeal of Elden Ring really surprised me.
Yeah. What if it was the hardest game ever? But wait, also it's inscrutable. And everyone loves it. It's the most successful game ever. That's a cool thing about video games, It's like it's like what if instead of Marvel movies, like Gus Van Sant movies were the $1 billion, you know what I mean? Like
I get that. I know what that means.
All right. Hey, fancy a quiz?
Yes.
All right. Don't shout at me. Okay, here's what we'll do. I will name a race of alien. You will tell me.
That's an interesting way to do it. Yeah.
Thank you. You will tell me the game that alien is from for 1 point. Then I have a follow-up trivia for 2 points. That will be harder.
Okay.
All right. So if you guess the game, you then get to answer the trivia question.
Okay.
All right. So shout out when you know the game. We'll start with some easier ones, I think, and then get to smarter ones. So first one, Protoss.
Are they Half-Life?
Not Half-Life. George?
Not a clue.
Nothing?
Is it really obvious?
This is a big one, yeah. This is a pretty...
Protoss.
Protoss.
Halo?
I guess it's just outside of your wheelhouse.
Yeah,
what if I said Zerg?
Oh, StarCraft.
Yes.
I don't think there's any point in giving me a trivia, but we'll try.
I know. Well, Zerg was going to be the trivia, so...
Okay.
I was going to say name the other one, because there's 2 aliens in StarCraft. No, Protoss and Zerg. Okay.
I guess a point.
All right. Chozo.
That's Metroid.
That is Metroid, Stacey.
Metroid.
Can you name the Chozo who serves as the main boss in Metroid Dread? The main villain?
It's not Ridley, it's the big like squelchy thing. My answer to that is I know the boss battle, I can't think of the name. I can pass it to George if George knows.
You want to try?
God, Dread is so long ago, not a clue. And it's like Ochko or something like that.
It's Ravenbeak.
Well, I was close.
and then the friendly one is named Quiet Robe.
Nope.
Okay. How about this one? Chimera.
Oh, I recognize Chimera.
Yeah, that's just gone straight.
I mean, it's obviously it's a word anyway.
What the Chimera?
This is a game you both know.
Yeah, I know.
George likes this game.
Yeah, I like a lot of games.
What's like? So
How
why is it
obvious?
I don't? The Chimera.
The Chimera.
This is embarrassing. It's literally on the tip
Is
of
this
my
an
tongue.
older game?
It's an older game. It's one people always want them to make a new one of, but they won't.
God, that's like all of my
It's
games.
not
are
fully.
like...
Okay. The Chimera are sort of hybrid human aliens. It's like a virus that infects. It's an alien virus that turns humans into the Chimera. Nothing?
Yeah, it's gone straight on the head.
No, this is Resistance.
Oh, I don't really like Resistance. Yeah.
Oh.
I should have known that. I should have recognized that.
All right. I'll ask you the bonus question anyway, because I wrote the bonus question.
Yeah, okay.
What are the Chimera trying to do to Earth in the Resistance series?
Repopulate it.
Nope.
Terrascape it.
What's Terrascape?
Like transform it into like their own planet.
Yeah.
Cleanse the ecosystem.
Close. They're trying to freeze it because they run hot.
yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
I should get that.
Combine.
Halo.
Nope.
Oh my god.
I've heard of this. Always exposes me this. I have heard of it's because it's
I'm
the
doing
Combine.
awfully. Yeah.
Combine. Or the Combine.
I think
The
I know
Combine.
it. No, I've said.
Gears?
Nope.
Oh, I was going to say Gears. Yeah.
This is harder than I thought, but that always happens with my quizzes.
These are really obvious ones. We're just not getting them.
The Combine, they go from world to world.
Is it Half-Life?
Conquering. It is Half-Life.
Oh,
yes.
God. James would have killed me.
Yes. George, do you know the name of the slave race of aliens that the Combine bring to Earth?
Oh,
they have
God.
funny voices.
Did they have the one eye?
They got one big eye. Yeah, they're kind of hunched over.
Yeah, I don't know. I know
3 fingers.
I know what they look like, but I don't know their name.
Okay, they're called the Vortigaunt.
Yeah, I would never.
I think. Oh, now that you've said that, I don't know that I would have. I feel like I'd have had more of a chance of getting that one because I've edited enough.
Yeah,
things
James
that we've written at the side about.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
All right, we'll get there. We'll get some answers. How about this? Batarians.
That is Mass Effect.
That is Mass Effect.
Yeah.
There's no
point for Stacy. Stacy, you're familiar with the Krogan, I assume?
Yes.
Can you tell me the Krogan's home planet?
It is something like Ragnar.
I'll give you it's something like Ragnar.
But not for a point, right?
No, not for a point.
I like the Krogan. It's kind of it's like destroyed and you go there in the last game and it's been built up.
Yeah.
No, we haven't done it.
Tachanka.
No, it's not even close. I
Okay.
do know. I recognize that now.
Furons.
Destroy humans.
Yeah, point for George. George, you know the main character of Destroy All Humans?
I do, and I love.
What's his name?
Cryptosporidium. I believe
Cryptosporidium. Yeah, I was going to ask you for the full name.
Yeah.
Which is Cryptosporidium.
There is a specific, because he's a clone in all the games, but it's a specific number. I can't remember which. I was going to say 138, but maybe I'm just being a nerd.
All right. So it's 3-2 for George currently. Next one, Typhon.
Typhon, I know that as well.
Typhon. Typhon. It's a game I love a lot.
Oh, Prey.
All right. George, good job. Can you tell me Morgan invented a helmet to study the Typhon? Can you tell me what that's called?
Oh, no, I remember. It's like it's acronym, doesn't it?
No.
Oh, then. No, I have no clue.
The gun was an acronym. The gun was the glue gun.
Yeah. GLU. Nothing?
Stacey,
do you know it?
Neuron Psycho.
No, I don't know.
It's the Psychoscope.
Nope.
Okay. 4-2. Next one is Zetans.
Zetans.
Zetan.
And I'm just gonna guess Gears again.
Nope. This is a series, but it's not about the Zetans. They just kind of show up throughout the series.
George?
I don't know.
You visit their mothership. There's a DLC about visiting their mothership.
Oh, Fallout 3.
Yeah, Fallout. George,
That was handed to me, but okay.
Somebody needed to get there. George, the Zetans worship a toy horse.
Mm.
Do you know the name of it?
No, Fallout subtlety, it'd be horsey toy something stupid. But no, I don't.
It is Giddy Up Buttercup.
That's even worse.
Okay, next is the Locust.
Gears of War.
Yes, Gears of War. George, the day that the Locust.
Judgment Day.
Nope.
No! What is it? I should have let you finish. Why'd I talk?
The day that the Locust took over Sarah. It's an important day.
E-Day?
And I'm looking for the name of it. It is E-Day. What is it? What does the E stand for?
Exodus Day?
No. Stacey, do you know?
Emancipation?
No, it's emergence. They came from the underground. They emerged.
I hate Gears of War.
All right, last one. Zin.
That is Saints Row.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Stacey, what is the name of the Zin leader?
No, this one.
Zinyak.
Yeah.
It is Zinyak.
Yeah.
Emperor Zinyak.
I would have got that as well. Except I didn't.
George wins by 1 point.
I don't even think I did, really. I was handed so many of mine. We'll give this one to Stace. More legitimate knowledge. It's
true. There was a few, because I would obviously done some research for games I was going to think, and I was thinking, if you mention this, I know what they're called. But we didn't get to them. You
should have asked me about the Mukodons from Oddworld. I would like that.
Yeah, I almost got the Mukodons, yeah.
Mine Crawlers from MDK. The Mayans from Perfect Dark. So yeah, this could have been a slam dunk.
Yeah, if we made this quiz,
we would have Pandorans.
Yeah, I'm sorry I went with obscure games like StarCraft and Half-Life.
They are outside my field, to be honest.
I'm telling everyone you didn't know who the Combine were. All right, let's talk about a few more Alien games while we got some time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have some honorable mentions. One that I loved when I was a kid that I'm sure is not a good video game was Area 51 with David Duchovny.
I loved Area 51. That scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. It's a really generic shooter.
Yep.
About like a CIA guy fighting aliens in Area 51.
Yeah. You could transform though. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
You got the powers.
Yeah.
That always scared me. The cutscene where he like activates his powers is that weird noise and he's like, whoa. I was like, burned into my memory.
It's like a Half-Life ripoff, basically.
Yep.
But I liked it.
I did.
I liked it. Lucas Pope's Mars After Midnight. I wanted to bring this
up. Is that the one on the crank?
On the play date, yeah. We've never talked about any play date games on this show, so I was like, oh, here's a chance to mention a play date game.
Is this the one where you have to like racially profile the aliens?
That's an interesting way to put it.
But it is though, isn't it? It is.
Yeah. So you're running a support group on Mars, and every day you pick what this group's going to be. So, Cyclops anger management, for instance, and then you prep. You get all ready for the support group, and then you have to let in they're not customers, but whatever, the patrons, the clients. And you look through a people and you have to determine whether they should be there or not.
Racially profile sounds about right. Yeah,
you got to count.
Sounds like
count the number of eyes. And then
but you can't always tell what their eyes are. Like it's not just like kind of that one's got two eyes. Like they might have oddly shaped eyes. There might be a shoulder.
And that's why we never judge a book by its cover, folks. That's the message.
It's a very interesting game. It's a very Lucas Pope game, and it has just really cool art and a really cool sense of presence.
Injustice.
It is a very like fun whimsical game, but that just was the best way to describe it.
Of course, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Of course, a game where the humans are the aliens. Am I right?
It was fun.
Let me some Avatar. No, it's great. Doom Eternal and the upcoming.
Speaking of, it's fine.
Doom the Dark Ages. That was a perfect 5 out of 5 for me on thegamer.com.
I like it.
Obviously, Doom is hell and demons, right?
Yeah, I'd say demons.
But it started as he's a space marine. The Doom guy, he's like, well, I guess he was like a maintenance guy, but it starts on Mars, right? They like open a portal to hell on Mars. And I think that the remake series, largely starting in Eternal, did a really good job of tying the sci-fi back into it all. And this sort of like Judeo-Christian images of heaven is actually an alien planet. And Argent Dahur or whatever is like another race of humans, but it's like in another dimension. And the big boss at the end of Doom Eternal is the Khan Maker, which is like God, basically. But yeah, they do a cool job of like kind of what we were talking about earlier of like
this less celestial etherealness of it.
Yeah, tying together these ideas of like higher power and religion and aliens.
And you can shoot them.
And you can shoot them in the face.
You can shoot them in the face.
You don't have to listen to all of that. You can just shoot. Don't worry.
All right. I know that's none of your business, George, but what about Guardians of the Galaxy?
Guardians of the Galaxy is fantastic. I would say it's a favorite of the show. I think we bring it up.
I think
we do.
I feel like this is going to sound stupid, but in the same sense that maybe I don't think of Mass Effect when I think of Alien game. I feel like if everything's Alien,
no, I think that's...
I don't always consider it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just space at that point.
I think it's a fair point to say for a game to be a true Alien game in that sense of the word, it needs to also feature a grounded sense of humanity, because humans are in, I mean, both Guardians and Mass Effect, because Quill is human and
he gets abducted.
Shepard is human.
Okay.
But
gets
like
abducted from Earth.
But the rest of the people in Guardians don't know what humans are. Like Quill is the only human they've ever seen. And in Mass Effect, the humans are like the newcomers to the galaxy, but they've still been around for like the game begins with Shepard being the first Spectre, like the first like special agent to be a human. And like only the like elite races in the galaxy get to do that, and they kind of play around with the idea of humans arriving quite late and then being racially superior and why humans feel that way. So like there is a lot of politics more than, oh my god, there's an alien thing. But I think in the third game, when the Reapers arrive and they're like, you start in London and they're actually like shooting laser beams at Big Ben, then it's like, oh, it's an alien invasion is going on now. I do think the first two don't have that as much.
Yeah. Agreed. That's all mine. What do you got? What else you got?
I have... There's a couple more that I wanted to mention briefly, but there's one that I really nearly picked that I'm never going to get to over again, so I'm just going to mention it briefly. Do either of you have Space Jam, the game?
No, I didn't know there was a game.
Yeah.
What?
Space
no
Jam?
way.
You know what Space Jam is?
Yeah, I know what Space Jam is.
Do you play basketball?
Yeah, it's basically NBA Jam. It's a 3v3 basketball thing. But the reason I love it so much is it's probably the first game that I played that I knew was bad but loved anyway.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Because like when I started gaming, I had the first game that I got was Pokemon Red and Blue. That was the first video game I ever played. So it was like a high bar to, well, it was blue, not red, to start from. Then when I got the PlayStation, I begged my parents to give me a PlayStation, I got Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and Titan 3. Again, classics. I also got Cooler World, but I played Cooler World and I was like, no, I know this is bad. I don't want to play this ever again. Cooler World was a puzzle game where you played as a sentient beach ball, by the way.
I know that one.
I do not.
And Space Jam was bad. It was that you played basketball, you'd be the monsters or the but after every like quarter, you would stop because like, oh, Michael Jordan lost his shoes. And like run around his house avoiding his dog. God. And it was his house. So it was like a 2 up, 2 down, like suburban house. Like, this is not where Michael Jordan lives. And it was like the game would stop, so you could do mini games where you like we've lost our water bottles. You've got to run around and like grab as many water bottles as you can when you're playing as Daffy Duck. It was really silly and bad.
That's cool. That's someone who
but
likes Space Jam.
I had a lot of fun
Yeah.
with it, and obviously I still love sports games now. I still like buy a lot of the annual sports games. And yeah, it was the first bad game that I remember knowing was bad. I got a 3.6 out of 10 from GameSpot. I looked that up before because I was nearly going to mention it. So just wanted to give it a shout out because we're never going to. I didn't even bring it up for licensed games, which I could have so much about the X-Files games. So like,
did you play the new Looney Tunes Sports?
I heard that was Wacky World of Sports.
Wacky World of
Sports?
Sports?
Awful.
I didn't. Yeah, I heard it was bad. I probably would have been tempted by it if I hadn't heard it was so. If I'd heard it was just like kind of okay.
Yeah.
I probably would have gone with it for like the nostalgia, but I didn't play it. I did see the new Space Jam though. Didn't like that.
Nope.
Did you see the new Looney Tunes? The new
I haven't seen the day
I
the
really
Earth blew
want
up
to
yet.
see that. Yeah.
It's
not
very
out anywhere
good.
here, I don't think. Until it's on streaming
No, I
somewhere.
think it's probably streaming at this point. But yeah, it's very good. I liked it a lot. Yeah, I think I've written about this before, but I loved a bunch of Looney Tunes games when I was a kid. And I knew Stacey, I knew they were bad. Really? Did you play
Back in Action was really good, actually. I like that.
Did you play Bugs Bunny's Lost in Time?
Lost in Time,
did.
yeah.
That was actually
I love
okay.
Lost in Time.
I love that game, yeah.
Did you guys play the Space Race one? That's good. Space Mario Kart, but spacey.
Oh, no,
I didn't play Mario Kart one.
When Pokemon got huge and everybody wanted their own Pokemon, there was a Game Boy one called Looney Tune Collector Alert.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
You might have me beat. I don't know that one at all.
No, it was cool. It was actually a top down platformer, but every Looney Tune had their own ability, and you'd have to swap between them, and so you'd collect them over time. And so Bugs Bunny could dig; he could go in the ground and move under things, and everyone had a thing they could do. So you'd have to constantly be swapping which Looney Tune you were.
I mean, the most unknown Looney Tunes game is Multiversus. Don't know if you've heard of it. No
Join
one
us
ever
next
knew
week
that
for your favorite game with Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. I could so do that.
I still have a Xbox Multiversus controller for you.
I know. I await its
funeral. It's a collector's item.
Yeah, now it's a memorial.
$1 bajillion.
Jeez, I mean, here's a Multiversus jacket. Rest in peace, my old friend.
Oh my god!
I don't know. That's the Space Jam level. We're still on track.
Yeah, it had LeBron.
Yeah, most alien of us all.
The other ones I had that I just mentioned briefly in the quiz: Perfect Dark, great game. You don't really think of it as aliens, but Kirby is technically an alien game.
Oh,
Planet Popstar.
Yep.
And Battletoads.
I definitely wouldn't have thought Battletoads.
Great.
Yeah.
You're pretty young for Battletoads.
I did think of that one briefly. I do love Battletoads.
George, do you have any?
I have one that I can't believe you didn't mention, Stace, but Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Oh my god, yes.
Area 51.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best levels in the series.
3?
That's the first one, Roswell.
That's in the first one. Oh.
Yeah, that was their last competition stage. And in at least in 1 and 2, if you do a bunch of challenges, you find the alien plushies, you get the alien.
You get the thing, and you got the special like version of the McTwist where you disappeared and you reappeared.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there's aliens all over Tony Hawk, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm new gen, so I don't know as much, but Stace will.
I think there's an alien storyline in. I actually want to say it might be in Project 8, in one of the other ones where it's like just like a random NPC that you meet, and it's like a little bit like the ones obviously nowhere near as involved, but a little bit like the ones in GTA or Red Dead, where it's just like you go off and do a thing, and it's like, oh yeah, aliens.
Yeah.
I think it might be Project 8 that has that. There's certainly one. It might be American Wasteland.
One of the less good ones.
I remembered, and I didn't play
Wasteland
Project 8, so it must be a different one.
Yeah. And another one, I almost picked this as my actual pick, and I was like, I don't want to be that basic, but we've mentioned it a few times or alluded to. But GTA 5's whole saga of aliens, I actually love. I know it's really basic of me, but I think they're cool.
I mean, it's basics. Everyone loves GTA. Like, it's not like
it's not like a bad choice.
Thing, you know what I mean?
Generic.
I think it was a cool way to do like an ARG, whether they intended it to be that or not. Like, the way that it inspired the community to come together to try to solve a mystery. I think there ended up not actually being a mystery. Yeah,
the Mount Chiliad thing is a joke. Like, it's just not supposed to have an answer, which is the whole thing. But I think at a certain point, after so many years, with such an obvious tease, it's almost like really nothing. Like, not even like just chuck us a jetpack in the single player mode. Like, I think it's silly. But in researching this, because I was like, I remembered something else with the aliens. I was like, I know there's the whole Michael getting high, he sees aliens in 2
Yeah.
missions actually. But there's in the very first mission in the game in the North Yankton area, if you look on the ice when you're trying to get away, there's an alien like stuck under the ice going like that.
Oh,
And I completely forgot about that. I was like, oh my god.
I didn't even know that existed. That's
Yeah,
a funny
I
that's
remember
why I
that at the
never saw
time
it.
it was a big deal because it was part of the hunt, part of all the Easter eggs.
Because
but I
people thought
completely
it meant
forgot.
something. Yeah, if you do
Yeah.
this during the first mission, if you go this way or go that way, then
If
you
you
can
break
the
him
ice
out the
and-
ice.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The
But
big
that's the
one,
thing. That's what I love about GTA, the whole discussion, the whole
Yeah, starting
the
again soon,
alien.
ish.
Yeah, I like it.
the big one that finally convinced me that there was something there was when they no clipped into the mountain and saw that it was all filled with tunnels, like that it was all hollow on the
Yeah,
inside.
yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay, well, something has to be in there. But
Well, the real boring answer is that it was supposed to be those murals represent. At least this is what people have said. Each mural represents one of the DLC things they were going to do. So, like the jetpack is Agent Trevor. I can't remember what the others are, but then obviously that never happened. They're all just GTA Online episodes, and it just didn't mean as
Yeah.
much. But it's nice to think about.
all right,
Yeah.
good.
Aliens.
Anything else?
No,
Yeah,
it's none of my
Aliens
business.
end on.
No
It's none of my
more
business
aliens.
either.
Nope.
Very good. Well, those are our favorite games with aliens, but we want to know your favorite games with aliens too. So leave us a comment, get in touch. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back with another episode of your favorite game next week. That's it for nope. Damn it. I blew it.
You haven't blown it in ages.
I know. I didn't sleep enough. That's it for this episode of Your Favorite Game. We'll be back next week with another one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and visit us at thegamer.com. That's The Gamer. No spaces.